Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi and today we're doing another pick a card. Today's pick a card is messages and guidance from your higher self. So I have 3 crystals for you guys to choose from. Pile number 1 is the Sunstone crystal. Pile number 2 is the clear quartz. And pile number 3 is the whale soapstone. So see which crystal you are drawn to. The timestamps are going to be in the description box as usual, and I will see you guys at your timestamp. Hey pile 1, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what guidance your higher self has for you right now. So you guys chose the Sunstone crystal. I'm going to start with tarot and then we're going to move on to your oracle cards. As I've opened up to your reading, I almost feel like there's okay, have you ever watched A Christmas Carol and the ghosts come? And all of the ghosts and spirits, they're chained to like karma, and then it's like there's chains and then they're like moving these blocks around, so it's keeping them tied to earth. Not saying that's happened for you, but when I hear mental blocks, I'm feeling that weight keeping me down or keeping me from doing something or expanding, and it's coming from something of the mind in regards to like a mental block. And I'm sure there was like a saying before, like when you reach a brick wall, are you going to go around it? Are you going to go over it? Or are you going to go under it? Or are you just going to smash through it? And there's like a feeling of like these mental blocks and you almost like smashing through them in a way of like, you have no power over me. Because there's limitations of the mind that are coming up right now that you are, they're coming into your awareness for you to alchemize and plant seeds to grow and expand there even more. That's something that's coming through, and I really feel like there's something like almost testing your strength right now, because I'm being taken to the solar plexus. I'm really being taken to the solar plexus and you guys' own like determination and self-worth. So you may be having some mental blocks in your mind right now of like, I don't feel worthy of reaching this amount of success, or I don't feel worthy of love, or I don't feel worthy of X, Y, and Z. And then there's like these insecurities and blocks coming up, but they're not coming up to pull you back. And you're probably feeling like them ghosts from the Christmas Carol where you're feeling way down. They're coming up to your conscious reality like, let's just punch through them, let's work through them. What are they about? What are they teaching me? But we'll get into that. It was just something that came up when I tapped into your reading. So pile number 1, do you have sometimes a little bit of a negative inner dialogue? I'm not calling you out if you do, because there's another person that has one of those. She's sitting right here pulling the cards, right? So I know what it's like to kind of put yourself down and never feel like you're doing enough. Having a really harsh inner critic. I feel like some of you guys have that. It's tied to your solar plexus. And I think that you guys are becoming more aware of it, not because it's getting worse, it's seeding into your conscious reality instead of being hidden away subconsciously, which means that you would have made a dedicated effort to start working on your solar plexus, working on your ego, working on your insecurities. So them coming up to the surface shows that you're already doing the work and having a transformation for them to be coming up into your conscious awareness. So we have the Knight of Cups. I have no idea where I went and smashed it down. But there we go. Are you guys feeling a little frustrated right now? It's okay to feel that way. Just honor it, feel it, acknowledge it. Don't bury it back down, and don't push yourself to feel things that you might not be feeling in the moment. If you're feeling angry, you don't want to bypass that anger and push it back down, because it's going to flood out its way back to the subconscious. If you're feeling anger, you want to get that out. You want to feel it, you want to write it down, scream into thin air. You want to punch your pillow, do that. Don't punch people, but punch a pillow or something. Really honor that feeling for it to fly out. I said fly because there's a bird on the card, so I was meant to say for it to swim away, but you know. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Guidance from pile number 1's higher selves right now. Oh, are you guys frustrated? I feel like you guys are frustrated, or something's almost feels like it's blocking a path, and it's like, I know I'm meant to go that way, or I know I'm meant to reach this, but there's something in front of me, and it's, I'm hearing Scissor Song Blind, where she sings I can't see, I'm blind. It's almost like I'm trying to like ignore that this isn't coming into my face, and it's frustrating me. It won't go away. We have the 8 of Coins. Pile number, I'm gonna pull 4 cards, I think 4 tarot cards. pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Messages from pile number 1's higher self. Queen of Coins. Okay. Final card, please, spirit guides. Final card, pile number 1. Guidance from pile number 1's. Oh, my ring's falling off. Hang on. Guidance from pile. Guidance from pile number 1's higher self. Guidance from pile number 1's the Devil. Something's coming out right now that you're dealing with, and you're being asked not to bypass it. It's a feeling or a frustration. You're being asked to feel that feeling and use it as fuel to smash through something or to align yourself with something. We have the 3 of Cups at the back of the deck. Okay. I feel like you guys are the type of people, pile number 1, that, let me just make sure that this is focused and straight because it goes out of focus a lot. Okay, there we go. I feel like you guys are the type, pile number 1, where you, how do I explain it? You phoenix a lot. You die and become reborn a lot. Like, you really do transform a lot. You may have a lot of 8th house placements, Scorpio placements, maybe very Plutonian like that. And I feel like there's, every time that you work through something, work through shadow work through an insecurity, you use that energy to kickstart you, to like light that, get that lightning in the bottle and propel you forward. And I feel like I feel like you're trying to walk a path, and then there's just something coming up right now, like a roadblock, and it's like in your face, and you're trying to ignore it and push it away, and it's making you frustrated, and you're trying to like keep walking, but there's just something coming up into your face. I feel like for a lot of you guys, it's an insecurity. I feel like for a lot of you guys, it's a limiting belief. It could even be that you guys are trying to go down a particular path in regards to like your career or your love life, and like it's something's not working about it, and it's because that end game, that castle you're trying to reach, it's yours, but you're going down the wrong path. So there's something coming up that's frustrating you, but it's actually going to divert you down a completely different path. Or there's something coming up that you need to acknowledge as you're walking down this path that is actually going to be your friend and help transform you. So you could be walking down this path towards your career or towards love, and you may be having like insecurities really cropping up right now of, I'm not good enough, I'm not 100% on maybe what I'm going towards in my career, I'm not 100% there, or you have this really tough inner critic, or you may be going about it in a way that may have worked for an old paradigm but it isn't working for this one. So you could be going like, help running forward, when in actuality you're meant to take it slow. So there's something that's you're trying to do, you feel like you need to do it to go down this path, or there's a particular path you're trying to go down, and there's like a log there, and it's happening for you guys to acknowledge whatever this block is, this frustration, acknowledge it so you can transform it, because by transforming it, you're going to be catapulted to this castle that you're trying to reach. So for example, let's say now it's love that you're wanting to be open to a beautiful like love connection. You guys may be finding right now that a lot of insecurities are coming up in regards to love, or exes may be coming to mind, or ways situations went in the past are coming to mind, or fears are coming to mind. They're not to be batted away. They're to be, you're meant to hold hands with them and ask them, what are you showing me? Why are you here? Why is this happening? You know, you may be trying to keep a connection going with someone and it's fallen through, and it could be because somebody else may be for you. So if something's fallen through, you're being asked to really feel into where it's triggering you and allow it. It could even be that maybe there's a level of control and you're being asked to let go of that level of control. If it's in regards to your career, you could find that there's, you know, you could be waking up really early, putting everything in order and pushing yourself, when in actuality you're meant to be maybe taking it a little bit more breezy and being in the energy of receiving and just going where your energy is taking you. And maybe you're trying to wake up early and trying to get things sorted and it's just not happening. Or you guys may have like I'm even being taken to finances. Like some of you guys may want to purchase something, but it's to do with ego. It's nothing to do with your soul's desire. And then you're like, why is my money going low? But there's something happening. Your money's meant to be being put somewhere else. So there's a diversion happening, or something coming up for you to acknowledge. By acknowledging it or by understanding it and releasing to that control, I feel like it's going to catapult you forward to a higher height that maybe you can't even see, because this castle's at the top and you're down the bottom. Maybe you can't even see that there's another castle beyond that. So there's something happening. There's a little bit of divine intervention which is causing you to be frustrated, and you're being called to look at what's making you frustrated and really looking at maybe why that's happening and meditating on it. Or even if you don't have the answers right now, just accepting that everything is happening for you and not to you, and really managing just where you're at right now instead of trying to control the situation. There's almost a level of control because your higher self is saying, when there are waves crashing, we don't fight the waves. We flow with the waves. We allow the waves to take us where we need to go. It's like when Saturn tries to teach us like those heavy lessons, we get up and we start fighting Saturn back, it's going to be worse on us. We're meant to hold hands with Saturn and go, okay, what are you teaching me? What's going on? Like where am I building stamina here? How is this happening? Why am I going the long way around you? What am I gaining and what am I learning? And I feel like for you guys as well, a lot of yourself and a lot of your energy and a lot of your lessons are built in the process rather than the end game. And I feel like there's something cooking here that you're not realizing, that there's something cooking. But because there's like frustrations and blocks right now, it's like you guys are getting really, really frustrated and you're being called to listen to that. Why are you getting frustrated? And really there's a level of control that you're being asked to let up on here, because I almost feel like something's falling down or something's becoming quite hard for me. I can't keep going. Like I can't keep going down this path. Something's blocking it, you know what I mean? And you're trying to find the power to smash through the wall, but the only way you'll gain that power is to look at what is actually blocking it, you know what I mean? So that's definitely something coming through. I feel like it's something, there's something in your present moment you're being called to fixate and focus on right now. It could be the way that you're placing your energy. You could find that like you want to do a lot right now, but your energy is super fatigued and you're like, why is this happening? You're being called to look into the present moment, because it's like, okay, well, where have I been putting my energy? Have I been scrolling TikTok till 3 in the morning, or have I been doing this till 2 in the morning, or have I been doing this or that? Have I not been putting my energy in the right places? Have I not been having boundaries with certain people? Or it could even be with finances. Your finances may be low, but as you're looking at where your finances are, it's like, actually I was spending loads of money out for this and I didn't need to, and I was spending loads of money out for this and I didn't need to. There was no point in me really doing that. So what looks like a block, it's coming up to show you your money is going this way and we want to make more of it, so maybe we need to cut off certain things because it's draining the bank account, you know? So there's something like that coming up as well, that's keeping you chained. That's why I was being shown, I love how we have the devil with the chain here, and I was being shown the ghosts from the Christmas Carol kind of chained to something. I feel like you've maybe gone through a rebirth or done a certain amount of alchemization, but there's something that you were used to approach in your old way, your old paradigm, that worked for you back then. It doesn't work for you now. And that's what's coming up for you to alchemize. Like we don't need to do this anymore. I mean, we don't need to push ourselves anymore. We have to work smarter, not harder this time. We have to put our money into things that are going to help it grow this time. We need to, you know, lessen up on the control. It's 11:33 on the clock. If you've been seeing 11 a lot, or 33 a lot, or 11:33 a lot, that's what's on the clock right now. But yeah, and I feel like that's where you're being called to. And I think another level of that then is because I feel like some of you guys may have a harsh inner critic. I see you guys maybe getting frustrated with yourself. Like, why isn't this working? I'm not working hard enough. I should have known that, you know, my money was going this way or this way. You wouldn't have known because you've just jumped from one paradigm to another. You're in the early stages of learning something new. You're going to continue those old wirings until you're like, oh wait, this might not work, let me try it a different way. Think of it like when you have a phone and you have an app on that phone. When that app needs to be updated, you don't know until it starts glitching, and you wonder why this app has a bug and it starts glitching, right? And you're wondering why, and you're getting frustrated every time you're clicking on it. It's going off, or it's messing up with your phone, and you don't understand. So because this app is glitching and you really want to use it, you then go, well, I need to find a solution to why this app is glitching. So you go maybe to the app store, you go and type into Google, and then it's like, well, have you updated it? And you go to the app store and you realize that app needed updating 3 weeks ago and you didn't realize. So you sit there for a minute and you update that app, and then it starts running smoothly. So it's almost like, think of your energy right now. If you have been going through a level of a rebirth, or doing shadow work, or doing deep healing like that, think of your energy right now as there's little glitches coming up right now. That, yes, they're frustrating, but if you follow it back, it's just because it needs a reboot, so those bugs can be fixed. So it's like, if your finances are low right now, it's like, was I using my money the way I used to in that old paradigm? Or was I using my energy the way I used to in that old paradigm? I don't think I can do that anymore. Was I trying to work out the way I did in that old paradigm? My body's changed since then. And looking at that and rebooting it, that's a strong message coming through right now for you guys. So let's pull some more cards. What should we pull? Let's pull the Dhanishta cards next. Pile number 1, please, Spirit guides. Pile number 1. There's these little things coming up, see, with the Knight of Cups. There's these little things coming up. Because the bird as well, I always see birds as like messengers. I feel like they always bring a certain energy to us. So whenever there's birds around, I always like to go into that state of receiving. Even if my mind isn't picking up anything, I feel like energetically I just have. And I just, with that card and him looking at the bird, it's almost like there's something coming up that's frustrating you, but it's sending you a signal like, this is going that way because we're doing it the old way. We need to shift this up. We need to shake this up. Because I feel like you've been getting your ducks in a row for some time and pouring into you. And that's why these little things are coming up, because they're keeping you in maybe an older energy, or having things not be so expansive for you, because they're chained to something you used to do in the past. And it's just coming up for you to alchemize. For some of you guys, it's as little as insecurities and maybe the way you speak to yourself. So it could be like you guys maybe not feeling good enough, looking in the mirror, not feeling good enough, moving towards certain career paths and not fully believing what you're saying when you're saying things, or not fully feeling as confident as you could be. And it's like, well, why am I feeling like this? Why do I have imposter syndrome? And that's where it's coming up for you to be like, well, let's lean into this. Let's really feel into this. What's making me feel inadequate? So some of you guys, it's just feelings of insecurities and mental blocks there. Pile number. So what you're being called to shift is the way you speak to yourself. Did you ever see that science project and there was like 2 plants, and then the people talked to one plant really mean and said really mean things to it, and then they spoke to the other plant really nice, and the plant that was spoken to mean, it started withering and dying, whereas the plant that was spoken to nice, it was like flourishing. So we're like that, guys. Like we're literally plants with legs. You know what I mean? Like the way we speak to ourselves, it really can manifest into the physical. So you're being called to maybe update your own internal dialogue. And that's not, you wake up one morning, you may say something negative to yourself, realize you're saying something negative to yourself, and then being more mean to yourself because you didn't catch on. If you find yourself talking bad to yourself, just imagine that being your inner child and just respond in a sense of like, no, it's okay. It's okay. You know, even if you wanted to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and you woke up at 7 and it was an hour later, you still woke up at 7 o'clock. You still got yourself up at 7 o'clock. Speak to yourself in little ways and it'll grow. Even if it's like, I'm feeling so low today, I don't want to do anything, but you got up and you made yourself a cup of tea in the morning. Speak to yourself in that way. That'll make you grow, because I feel like you guys in particular as well, I feel like positive words of affirmation are what help you grow energetically. So I just feel like that, I feel like your environment, the music you listen to and the way you speak to yourself really help you grow. I feel like you take in a lot from your environment. So that's definitely something, just praising yourself for the little things. If you do mess up, like, you can realize it and then go, do you know what? In the past, I would mess up and bully myself, but I've messed up today and I'm just going to learn from it and I'm going to grow from here. It's fine. So I've just done something really good here because I'm not beating myself up for it. And it's, again, positive affirmations. I feel like that will really help you guys, because that may be the glitch in the app. That is you. You know, I feel like that may be the glitch for some of you. For others of you, it's something physical. Pile number 1's guidance from pile number 1's higher self. We have clear your energy. Yeah, we have clear your energy. There's something that's taking your energy. And it's something so small, but it's going to feel like a really big rebirth when you pull that splinter out. It could be your environment. There could be a lot of clutter in your environment. There could be a lot of clutter in your mind. You may not be going out into nature as much. It could be foods that you're eating that are taking your energy, people that you're giving your energy to. And it's something little that you know you'd be able to divert if you consciously like realize that it was happening. So take a look at what, really be aware over the next couple of days, and I think you'll be able to find what I'm talking about. When you wake up in the morning, really feel your body and really tap into your body and see what's taking your energy away. Is it, you know, your waking up in the morning and then you're going straight onto your emails and then you're worrying for the rest of the day? Is it you wake up in the morning and then you're fine and then you eat something that might not be the best and then you feel low because it's making you feel lethargic? Maybe you speak to someone and your energy just completely shifts. Listen to that. Or you go on a specific app, because it could be that there's a clutter out needed. It could be on Instagram. You could be looking at things that maybe are triggering you or just taking your energy and not inspiring you. And you're being called to create a mood board there, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, maybe unsubscribing to a few things, unfollowing certain accounts on Instagram, deleting old emails that you don't need anymore, old texts that you don't need anymore, because even when it's not physical, it's still energy. So that's something coming through for you guys to really be decluttering, I mean. That will really help. Pile number 4, messages from pile number 4. I don't even have a pile number 4. Pile number 1, we have harmony. Pile number 1, guidance. We have sustenance. Okay, let's put these. The same way that nature has its own rhythm and cycles, so do we. And we have a multitude of them. We have our own cycles physically. We have our own cycles emotionally, hormonally, spiritually, mentally. We have our own cycles like that, energetically. And you're being called to flow with your own cycles instead of pushing them away and listening to when things are keep taking you off track. Really listen to what it is that's taking you out of that energy. We have spiritual quest at the back of the deck. I feel like you're on a bit of an inner journey in this lifetime. You know, people say, oh, I'm on a spiritual journey. I feel like we're all on spiritual journeys in one way or another, but I feel like your journey is an inward journey of mastering parts of yourself. And I think this is just another part that you're learning. 100%. I think that your focus right now is solar plexus, sacral chakra based. In regards to your energy field right now, I feel like there's definitely challenges in regards to your own insecurities, will, you know, boundaries. I feel like that's where you're experiencing challenges right now, and that's where there's a revamp happening and a update of the apps in that area. So that's why you're being called more than ever to really tune into your true energy before anyone kind of like pulls that out of you, if that makes sense. And really making sure that you're feeding your body with the sustenance card here the right foods, feeding your mind the right foods, and so on and so on. And you'll know which one is taking your energy when you tap in. You're almost being called as well. I think there's some of you guys on your phone a lot, because I'm being shown someone's phone with cords of energy going into the solar plexus specifically. So there's that. I also feel like if you guys do spiritual work, to be careful who's pulling on you, pulling on your energy there, or maybe like therapy, counseling, things like that. If you know you're open in your higher chakras, or you're highly sensitive or an empath, I feel like it goes without saying, make sure you're putting those boundaries in, and no is a complete sentence. I say that all the time. Yeah, because I feel like your energy's nabbed on quite a bit, and I think that's the challenging part of you guys working on the solar plexus specifically, because it's like, I think you're coming to realize your energy is going here, there and everywhere. You might not have realized it before. And especially as you're tapping into your own sacredness, you're realizing, well, that's mine. I don't know why you've got that. That's mine. I don't know why you've got that. Why am I giving you the power for that? It's 11:44 on the clock now, and it was 44 seconds when I looked at the timer then. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1. Guidance from pile number 1's higher self. We have Magha, dreams, rhythm, higher self, reality, and rest. So the fact that we have the rhythm and the higher self, it's like if you can get to nature, I would definitely say to get to nature, but it's more so grounding and centering. I think that you guys may as well, what may help you guys as well is breath work. Just taking certain deep breaths in, like holding it for 3 seconds, imagining all of your energy returning to you, and then breathing out and imagining everybody else's energy, you know, flowing away. I feel like that would really help you guys. I know breathwork sounds so simple, but it helps so much. The back of the deck, we have spellbound, soul, alignment, release, and protection. Yeah, so any way as well that you can protect your energy, even if it's like turning your phone off at certain times of the day when you don't need to be on it constantly, when you know that you are, maybe putting a time limit on when you can go on certain apps. That's helped me in the past. Or again, speaking up for yourself. Again, no is a complete sentence. Maybe wearing some crystals that protect you, specifically the black crystals, black tourmaline, obsidian, onyx. I feel like they would really help you guys. Shungite. Shungite would really help, but I know Shungite's quite expensive, so more affordable crystals is like black obsidian and stuff. At least authentic Shungite is quite expensive. I remember paying like quite a little bit, and I literally got a piece of Shungite that was like this small. It was like literally like this. I was like, oh, I thought it was going to be bigger. I thought I would be able to put my phone on it, and I wasn't able to do that, so I made a necklace out of it instead. Pile number, what have we got here? Yeah, we have stand still. I'm standing on too many things here. Stand still. You're being called to quiet your energy and listen to your own cycles and your own rhythms right now, and listen to any frustrations. Look at any frustrations coming up right now. If it's in regards to money, your career, love, maybe people taken from you and your boundaries, or you feeling like you have no energy, listen to these little blocks right now, because they're here to teach you something. And I think the more you do that, you'll alchemize, and that's where change then will be afoot. So that's the message and guidance I have for you guys, pile number 1, from your higher selves. I really hope that you enjoyed this reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey pile 2, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what guidance your higher self has for you right now. So you guys chose the clear quartz. The reason I had trouble speaking there is I heard that song, you know the song Don't Worry Be Happy? I just heard that come up. That was a song that just popped in right now, whoever that was for. Pile number 2, please, spirit guides. Pile number 2, tap me into the collective of, oh goodness, pile number 2, please, spirit guides. Tap me into the collective of my pile number 2s. Have you been feeling a little bit dull recently? Because when I look at that crystal, I mean, it's a beautiful crystal, right? But what I rarely realize until I'm actually staring at it and it's under a light like this, I don't know if you can see the crystal in the middle, the clear quartz in the middle, it actually really shimmers and glows. I don't know if you can see it, but in the light, why I was getting distracted was I was looking at the crystal, and then the more I was staring at it, the more I was able to see those twinkling bits. And I almost felt like everything around me was dull, but that was like making me feel brighter. And then I was sharing Don't Worry Be Happy. So Some of you guys may be worrying. There may be a little bit of a fog over you right now. Pile number 2. I also want to say it's very normal for you guys to be clearing up loose ends and maybe feeling a little bit lower emotionally right now. We're heading towards the end of an astrological cycle. We're going to be having a rebirth very soon, but I usually find around this time of the year, January, February, March, I usually find that there's a lot of reviewing, analysing, alchemizing. In the Northern Hemisphere, we are pretty much still in winter, so it's normal for you guys to be feeling like you just like a crab and wanting to stay in your shell, or feeling a certain type of way right now. Very normal for that to be happening. Pile number 2, guidance from pile number 2's higher selves. Guidance from pile number 2's higher selves. Okay, so we have the 2 of Swords. Guidance from pile number 2's higher selves. Guidance from pile number 2's. I'm being told for you guys to not compare yourself to other people's journey, whether that's their journey in just life, and what they have in regards to maybe their career, or how many material possessions they have. Maybe it's spiritually. Maybe you may see someone looking like they're going through a very beautiful ascension, and then you're feeling like you're just being chucked around in the bottom of the sea. Don't compare yourself to that, because we're all going through different waves. We're all going through different shifts. We're all going up and down. Even with love, you may be looking around and people are in love, or in romantic connections, and you're not, and it's like, why? Everything has its seasons. There's a strong message of that. Pile number, oh god. And if you think about it as well, like certain flowers bloom in certain weather. You know, sunflowers come out when the sun's out, whereas there's other flowers that are going to bloom in different seasons. Let's pull the rest of the cards so I can channel properly. Pile number 2. Pile number 2, please, Spirit Guides. Guidance from pile number 2's higher selves. Guidance from pile number... Oh, your cards are not wanting to come out a minute. Hang on. Guidance from pile number 2's higher selves. We have the Star. Guidance from pile number 2's 3 of Cups. Okay. And the back of the deck we have the Tower. Some of you guys may be going through a little bit of a grieving period or an isolated period. Some of you guys may be going through an ego death. Some of you guys may be doing some deep work right now, whether it's voluntarily or it's just kind of happened. You may be having certain emotions coming up right now. And one thing that I always say, I'm just making sure that it's straight and it's not blurring, because it tends to do that a lot. What I always say, pile number 2, is... I've completely forgotten what I always say. What do I always say, Spirit Guides? I've completely forgotten it. Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys. I completely forgot what I was going to say then. What I always say is, when we are feeling certain emotions, no matter how heavy they are, and we're wondering, why are we feeling this? This is from 5 years ago. This is from 8 years ago. The reason that they're coming up into our conscious awareness is because we may have manifested that we want to jump to a particular paradigm. We may have been manifesting something in regards to love, career, our worthiness. We may have been really putting the work and dedicated effort towards ourselves. Maybe we've started a self-love journey and things go pretty well, and then all of a sudden we feel like we've just been pushed back 10 miles and we're having to review things that we might want to bypass. Certain emotions, triggers, grief, and sometimes it's a lot, and sometimes we're not even aware what we're really grieving or what we're really working through. It sometimes feels like a fog of emotions that we're just feeling. Sometimes we're not meant to do anything in those moments, pal, too. Sometimes we're meant to just sit back and feel them. The more we feel them, the more they release. Because like I was saying, what I always say is, when we are feeling these heavy emotions, they've just unraveled themselves from our subconscious mind and into the conscious mind. Now what that means is, we would have been walking around trying to manifest and not realizing these invisible weights that are chained to our feet, that are keeping us in old cycles, keeping us in old patterns, karmic patterns with karmic partners, and, you know, connections or career paths that are quite limiting to us, and we know we can do more. And when we start to make that shift of wanting more and wanting to shift, our subconscious starts to hear that and go, all right, let's start unraveling this then and getting it out. Because the minute we do that, we can fill it back with some new things, and manifesting will just be a lot easier for us, because we're not manifesting out of an energy of lack or, you know, through this karmic energy. So we then have to sit in these feelings that we may have buried down, and sometimes they're buried down from childhood. Our childhood selves are a lot more susceptible and take in a lot more, and we tend not to remember a lot from our childhood. We bury it down so deep and we don't remember that at all. And that's why it can get confusing, because one day we're just sitting there and we're feeling unloved for some reason. That unloved feeling is our 7-year-old selves feeling like we weren't chosen by our parents, or we weren't loved by our parents, or we weren't emotionally nurtured by our parents, and we thought to ourselves at 7, well, why isn't my mother nurturing me? Why isn't my father nurturing me? Maybe I'm not good enough. And that feeling hurt as a child. We didn't know what to do with it, so we buried it deep. And we go into our adulthood with that wound all the way deep down in our subconscious, and we look for partners that kind of confirm to us that our feelings don't matter, and, we feel insecure and inadequate compared to them. So when we make that decision, I want to be in a healthy connection, that inner child from, that 7-year-old self is going to go, okay, well, I think this may be an issue. Let's bring this into the conscious mind. And then our 25-year-old self, our 29-year-old self, our 18-year-old self, our 45-year-old self is going to sit there and go, why do I feel all of a sudden like I'm not worthy? Why am I grieving something right now? Why do I feel so insecure? Why am I angry right now? Why am I frustrated? And the reason being is because that 7-year-old version of us has just gone, here we go, I think we need to clear this, and it's now come into our conscious mind. But what's happening there is it's no longer in our subconscious reality. And the more we feel it, and the more we nurture it, and the more we just allow it to come out, and I know it's painful to sit in those feelings, the more we do that, it starts to dilute. We feel the anger, the frustration, we allow that to dilute as well. And then it's like, okay, now let's feed that back with light. What is an actual connection? How do I genuinely feel about myself? How do I feel about expressing my emotions? Well, I'm going to shift that now. And we start to teach that shadow self, and we start to teach that inner child, actually, this is how we're supposed to feel. This is how it is. And then we start to rearrange and rewire our brains to allow a loving that isn't us feeling ignored or insecure. And then we don't have to worry about old patterns, I'm forgetting all my words. We don't have to worry then about those old patterns coming up and going around in those cycles. We just cleared it, And I feel like you're in a phase right now where you are really feeling the brink of some deep-seated emotions, maybe from childhood, maybe from your teenage years, so on and so on. There's something deep that you're purging. It almost feels like grief, or just like, what's the point? And I feel like maybe you're purging quite a few emotions at once. And all you're being asked to do right now, pal, too, is sit with it. There is a tower falling down, a tower that was built in karma, a tower that was built in you feeling insecure, a tower that was built in you feeling like you always had the short end of the stick. That tower, you've just started to absolutely smash through that tower and let go of that reality. It's not going to be yours anymore. But to do that, you have to really acknowledge that tower, smash it down, and get rid of the ruins. And that's what you're doing right now. And I feel like you guys may be a little bit oblivious as to what's growing right now. But in between these 2 of Swords, we have a rose coming through. So there's something being rebirthed. There's something being seeded that you're not realizing right now. Because what you're not seeing, we have the sun and the star. You guys are going through a rebirth. And you're going to get to a point where you're bringing light light back into those areas where there was a lot of darkness, and you start to build that tower back up in a way where it's like, you know what, my old tower, it wasn't sturdy and it was built out of this and this, so now I'm going to build it out of like this hard brick, and I'm going to build it out of steel so that it doesn't fall down anymore, because I'm going to be strong in that. And I learned through purging that that wasn't the right way to build a tower. So you're learning now, you're teaching your inner child, and you're teaching your shadow self how to move. But before you do that, you have to listen to your inner child, and listen to that sadness, and listen to that hurt, and listen to those frustrations. You have to listen to that shadow side, listen to the anger, you know what I mean? Listen to those insecurities, to understand them and to acknowledge them. And once you acknowledge and feel them and cry and scream, it's out and it's gone. And that's when you teach them something new. But right now, I feel like what you're not seeing is this rose is coming up from the soil. But right now, you're not able to see that because we don't see a seed right at the bottom of the soil growing. We don't see it yet. It's making its way up to the top of the compost, but we don't see it. So you've planted this little sunflower seed. It's making its way up, but you're not seeing anything yet. But it's going to come up. But right now, you want to focus on these emotions and these feelings coming up. Even if you just feel like a complete stalemate, you feel stale, dead, you don't feel anything for anyone, maybe you're feeling super fatigued, allow yourself that. And you probably will be feeling fatigued, because when you purge out a lot of energy, you don't think it, you just think you're sat in bed crying all day, but you're actually alchemizing a lot of energy that's going to take it out, because you've just let go of years worth of energy. It's literally just being pulled out of you. You're gonna be tired. So allow yourself time to rest. Even if you are feeling a little bit insecure of this and that, allow yourself to feel it, but don't compare yourself to where other people are at or what other people have, because you're doing something that is groundbreaking. You're doing something that is going to completely take you from one paradigm to the next and make a very big shift. You're doing the groundwork. So don't feel behind when you're seeing other people's gardens, you know what I mean? Because they may have had to do a lot of groundwork, and they may have been in the same phase as you for quite a few years, you know what I mean? Or some people's flowers may even be artificial, you know what I mean? And they may be like, oh, look at these flowers, and they might not even be real. They're ignoring the seeds at the bottom. They don't want to deal with it. So don't worry about what's going on anywhere else. This time is about you, and you giving yourself space, and you giving yourself grace. And that sun is going to come out, I promise you, because I've been here and I know that sun comes out. I promise you. I wouldn't say it if I hadn't been through it myself. You're not seeing it right now, but that rose is going to grow through that concrete, even if it feels impossible. Even if you can't fathom that you're going to have a healthy connection, or you're going to have a successful career, or you're going to feel happy coming out of this, you are going to. Because you've already made the shift for it to come out. You're doing this, you're alchemizing it, you're getting there. This is like the highest commitment to self. This is the epitome of what self-love is. Nurturing those parts of you that didn't feel wanted or needed, and you're doing it. I remember when I was going through my self-love journey, and I'd started it, and then I was going through my ego death, and I was sitting in bed crying, and I was thinking, this isn't very self-love. This isn't self-love. And I remember my spirit guide saying, yes, it is. You're literally listening to yourself for the first time ever. You're actually giving yourself space to cry for the first time ever. You know what I mean? You're allowing this all to come out. You're literally fighting for yourself. You're fighting for your shadow self. You're fighting for your inner child. And you're processing these heavy emotions. That's self-love. And I was like, you know what? It is self-love. And that's what you're doing right now. So even if you feel like you're abandoning yourself and you should be all sunshine and flowers, no. You are literally building yourself up from the ground and tearing down anything that didn't work for you anymore, and getting rid of that heavy weight. That is like self-love, you know. So let's pull some more cards. Pile. Ooh, your cards ran away. Hang on. Right now, you just have to give yourself permission to rest, heal, lay down, cry, feel these emotions, and when you can, do things that add a little bit of light back into your life. You know, maybe it's watching movies, maybe it's listening to music, maybe it's going out in nature, maybe it's visiting, you know, theme parks if you're up to it. Like anything that can bring light into your life in any way, definitely do that, you know. Buying some crystals, you know. Even if like you purchase something or you go and do something and then it doesn't really fit for you, you'll know that maybe that's not for you while this tower is falling down, and you can look to other things, you know. We have protection. So one thing that I want to say with this card coming through very strong is when I've noticed this when I channel for people, like when they're going through a heavy purge like this, it's heavily assisted by spirit. Specifically if it's something like an ego death or like a really big timeline shift, it is heavily protected. And I usually find that the ancestors of that karmic line that may have had to sit in that karma too, that you would be clearing, a lot of those ancestors will sit, watch, and be like, come on, like let's watch this, let's assist them in any way that we can, let's protect them in any way that we can, even if it's just protecting against negative energies, evil eye, while you're in those lower vibrations as you're purging. There's a very big protection field that goes through people that go through that. And I'm not just saying that, I've seen it so many times when I've done collective readings, when I've done it for people around me, when I was doing personal readings, like I would see that strongly. There would be a really strong protection around them. So even if you're feeling lonely right now, spiritually you're not on your own right now. Pile number two. Oh, we have achievement and positive outlook. What I love about this positive outlook card is he has the moon to his left and the sun to his right. You guys are probably going through a bit of a dark night of the soul, maybe. Or it just may feel like the nighttime right now. But when the sun goes down and the moon comes out and it's dark outside and it's cold outside and everyone scurries away, we don't worry about the sun not coming up. We know the sun's going to come back up. Just like it's going to come back up into your life as well. Right now you're being called to reflect and really, really feel these emotions coming through. Because once they've passed through, the sun is going to come activate and these flowers are going to bloom. We also have achievement here as well. I don't think you're realizing how much weight you're shifting. I think you might, some of you guys, be putting yourselves down a little bit. Please don't. Because you are a very beautiful light. And sometimes you struggle to see the light around you because you are like that star in the sky. But I think that once this night is over and you've purged and you've let go of this heavy weight that's currently transforming through your energy now, I feel like you're going to start seeing all the other lights around you. All those other light beings around you. All of that happiness around you. I'm being taken to the sacral chakra. If you guys can be around water right now, definitely do it. I'm also being taken to foods and scents. So if you guys can burn like essential oil, like orange essential oil, or just eating oranges, I feel like that's something that would be really good for you, like tangerines, clementines, things like that. I just think they would be really like, they'd revive you a little bit. That's something coming through. We have revelation at the back of the deck. There's something you're not seeing, and you're going to reach a point where there's like this aha moment. And I don't think it's just one particular aha moment. I think the more that you go through these shifts, I feel like every time something big happens and you have an aha moment, you're bringing the light back into your life. It's going to be a bit of a gradual process, I feel. So you'll go down, like I call it, into the murky waters, and you'll purge. And then it's like a light will, you'll find like a light, and then it's like you'll bring that up, and then you'll see things in a new way, and then it's like, right, let me go back down, and you'll go back down, find a light, and then bring that back up. That's something that's going to happen for you guys. And then it comes to a point then where the murky waters is just like dissolved and it's just bright light, you know. Pile number two, guidance from my pile number two's higher selves. Guidance from my pile number two's higher selves. We have ancestors. What was I saying about the ancestors? Family, survival, death, and worship. What was I saying that you guys had heavy ancestors around you, and your spirit team around you, even ancestors from past lives? I see that quite strong. The back of the deck we have, and it's peace, agent of change, impact, and importance. And look at the flowers growing with the sun there. That's what's happening for you guys right now. A big alchemization and change is happening right now. That's why it says importance, because it's a big shift. And you're being very protected right now. Like we have the eye there. I feel like you're being really watched over. Pile number 2. Any worries that you have, give them to spirit. Call your spirit guides in, call your answers in, and speak your worries to them. Because in any way that they're able to relieve you of it, they will. Pile number 2. Guys, look at the card. Look at the card that just popped out, your final card. You're in your cocoon. I know things are probably very confusing for you right now. I know you're probably very tired. I know you'd probably feel like you want to give up. Just you sitting in this cocoon and doing nothing right now but shifting and changing. When you think about the caterpillar in the cocoon, when he turns into that little bit of goo, he doesn't worry about not doing enough. He doesn't worry about, you know, school and work and what's going to happen. He just has to worry about the fact that he's just turned into jelly and he's a bit confused. And it's probably a little bit painful. I can't imagine that's like, you know, a fun time. But he sits there. He feels all that's going on. He leans into the confusion. He lets it be. And he transforms into probably one of the most beautiful insects that's on this planet, which is the butterfly. And that's you guys right now. You're going through this transformation. I love that that card came up. And do you want to know what's beautiful as well? You know, we have the rose and it's not fully grown yet. Like the petals are still blue on the outside. It's a little bit of a bud here within the 2 of Swords. Look at the rose above the butterfly. You've literally been planted in the dark and you are going to bloom because that's your purpose. You're here to. I love that that card came out for you guys. What have we got at the back of the deck? We have wonders. I think that as well, your outlook on life is shifting too. Because with the Revelation card, and you see him looking at the stars, and then you have wonders here with the crystal, and you have the galaxy in the background, and it's very purpley blue connecting to the higher chakras. I think that you're also going through a little bit of a revelation of like, maybe your spiritual gift or how you look at life spiritually. So like you guys could find that your old way of life doesn't have meaning right now and you're just like, well, what's the point then? But something's growing that's going to give you a completely different meaning of life. So something's very void in your life, if something feels very dead, don't try and push it. You're probably going to find new meaning in that area, even if it's like, I don't even know what my life mission is. I don't know anymore. I'm not like sure where I'm going. Don't push. Don't try and seek it out. Just allow yourself to shift. Allow yourself to just feel what you're feeling. That new way of looking at whatever it is going to come in. You may even feel separated from a specific spiritual gift right now, but it's because it's being rebooted. So you guys could find that like you were pretty open in your third eye, and that's how you move, but right now your intuition's blocked and you feel really dead in regards to your higher chakras. You're going to come a point where maybe your crown chakra is then super open and you start channeling wisdom that's been hidden in your subconscious for a very long time, or a particular craft you start yearning for, and it's because you studied it in a past life and you become a pro at it really quickly. So there's something about that that's going to happen for you guys as well, which is going to bring a lot of light in for you, and it's going to be part of this transformation. So yeah, pile number 2, that is what I have for you. That's the guidance I have from your higher self. I really hope that you enjoyed the reading and I hope it brought you clarity. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if it did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey pile 3, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what guidance and messages your higher self has for you right now. So you guys chose the whale soapstone. I'm going to start with tarot and then we're going to move on to your oracle cards. So let's get straight in. So pile number 3, please, spirit guides. Pile number 3, what guidance does pile number 3's higher self have for them? What guidance does pile number 3's higher self? I keep being shown like a jumper being turned inside out. We We have the Eight of Cups, which is making me feel like the way that you've looked at something is about to shift and change. Not that the way you looked at it before is wrong, but it's about to be shaken up and turned inside out so that you're able to see maybe both sides of it or more of the grander scale of it. You know, like when we look at a shape, but if we're on the ground level, we're only able to see like one side of it. We can't see the other side. Our eyes don't allow us to do that. There's something where like I'm being shown a circle and it's been flipped so you can see a different side. So imagine looking at the earth and you only see, for example, like obviously I'm from the UK, so the map that we're always shown is the Europe side with the bit with the UK. So whenever I see the world map from a completely different view, like when they show the American side, I get really confused because I'm like, that's not Earth. And then I realize, yes, it is. It's the complete other side of Earth. So there's something like that where you're seeing something different or something's shifting or something's being transformed in the way that you look at it. I'll get deeper now. Let me just lay the cards. Pile number 3. Guidance from pile number 3 is higher self. Eight of Cups. The Emperor. King of Coins. Have you guys always been super connected to spirit to the point that it's like other realm, don't belong here? I'm, you know, tapping into the celestial energies. I'm not from here. I am an alien. Have you always kind of dealt with connecting to spirit in that way? You're about to look at it in a different way. However, don't abandon the old way that you looked at it, because that's also a part of it. You're just tapping into a different layer, which makes me feel like you've been accessing or activating a different part of yourself. The fact that the way I feel you usually connect to spirit is in a very celestial way. Like when I say ungrounded, I don't mean like you're not grounded in reality. I just mean like I'm completely in a different realm. I'm constantly like astral traveling, lucid dreaming. I feel like you've activated something in your lower chakras that is bringing you into the way of the world, and you're about to start diving deep in regards to that. But right now you're probably feeling a little bit confused, like a fish out of water. It's like when a fish starts to learn to walk. Obviously that doesn't happen, but like imagine a fish was given legs. Think of like when you watch mermaid programs and they have legs and they have no idea what they're doing with them and they just don't, you know, that must be really confusing. I feel like you're going to start feeling like that. It's almost like I've been up in the air for a long time and now I'm here and I literally don't know what I'm doing. It's, hello. Oh my God, guys, Padme's made a debut. Say hi, Padme. Padme's never made a debut on my channel before. Say hi, everyone. I've been keeping her away from the other cats recently, just because the cats have had a cold and Padme hasn't had it. So Padme's been sticking with me, haven't you? Because we don't want you having a cold. That's her debut, guys. She's never shown up on my channel before, so you guys are very special. Padme doesn't show up for just anybody, do you? My pretty girl. My pretty girl. She's a very sweet girl. She'll just sit here with me now. I love you. I love you. So, what was I saying? Yeah, so it's almost like, you're learning to dive deep in something, but you're feeling a little bit confused, and then maybe you're questioning yourself like, well, was the way I was looking at it before wrong? No. It's like, it's given Paul, like when the alien came to Earth and he was just like, obviously not from here, he was an alien, but he just kind of didn't fit in, and he had to kind of like, he was kind of like learning to be human in a way. There's something about that coming through. Let me lay another card and we'll get into it. Final card so I can channel fully the Fool. Okay. You've mastered channeling the higher realms whilst also being on Earth. You have not yet mastered, or maybe you're learning to master in this lifetime. Or maybe you're teaching people to do it, so you're just walking that walk before you talk the talk. Of bringing the abundance and the richness that is your mind and like soul to Earth and using it to make moves, make shifts. I just shared Cardi B's song Bodak Yellow, making money moves. So maybe you guys are learning to create wealth on Earth, or learning to create, you know, become super connected to the physical body and nature on Earth, or moving in a specific way like that. So because of that, it's like you're tapping into something completely different now, but you're not supposed to abandon what you knew. You're supposed to bring all of that celestial energy into the life that you have now. I'll get into it in a sec. Let me just put the back of the deck down. Yeah, we have the Ace of Coins, which is the Ace of Pentacles. Okay. Okay. So some of you guys are feeling like, okay, this is what I'm being shown. I wanted to make it make sense to you. So let me explain it. You've always been in your higher chakras. You've always been able to channel, connect with spirit. You've always been in another realm. You may have decided, you know what, I'm going to start clearing some karma. I'm going to start maybe grounding into my physical body and doing all of that. You've started to do it, or maybe you've done a lot of shadow work that's allowed you to come into your physical body, and now you're kind of feeling like, I think the magic is starting to slip from my life. No, 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 no. You're meant to bring that wisdom and that magic that you see in the other realms, and you've seen it. You've seen some things, pile 3. I know you've seen some things. It's 222 on the clock right now as well. Well, 1222. You've seen some things. I know you have. You've been to realms. I know you have. You're learning to balance all of this celestial energy and what you've seen and the lucid dreams. You're learning to allow that to coexist into your current reality and starting to see in this physical reality the magic that is here, the magic that is Mother Gaia, the magic that is healing the physical body, the magic that is connections with other people, romance, love, relationships, friendships, traveling, the physical world. That's what you're learning right now. So you guys may be feeling like super connected to maybe more what we would call egoic things. You may feel super connected to purchasing certain things or making money and having a certain amount of like money in your bank account, or building a career up. Or some of you guys may be feeling like you want to travel and see things on earth, or just super be into nature, camping, you know, scuba diving and being shown things like that. The reason you're doing it is you're setting a new foot now. You're about to I feel like you've been clearing the weeds of your garden. You already had the imagination to envision where your garden could be. And I think you've been really putting the graft in. So now it's like, you know, in Stardoll, when you kind of create the rooms and you unlock the different rooms and you can change the colour and buy new outfits, you're kind of like doing that in your life right now. I think that's the little bit of phase that you're on. And I think you're building stuff in the physical, but at the same time realising the depth to building a career in the physical, or realising the depth to connecting with other people. Some of you guys may be super confused because you've always been a little bit of a lone wolf connecting with spirit, and now you're like, I wouldn't mind one of those relationships or something. I wouldn't mind opening up to one of them, or I wouldn't mind a friend. Or you used to be so cool with like sitting in your room doing nothing, and now you're like, I really want to do something. I really want to go quad biking. And these little things are coming up, and you're probably getting super confused, like, wait, am I losing my connection to spirit? Am I losing that magic that was me? No, it's starting to integrate into the physical life. You're about to start expanding in your physical life, and that's why your attention's being called there. We literally have the Ace of Coins. You're planting something. We look at the Eight of Cups. We've mastered something. We're walking away. Then with the Emperor, it's like we're discerning. We're looking at where we're at. We're planning with this King of Coins, and we're planting and we're building something physically. This is a new fresh start for us, and we're building something of substance. You know, so the reality that was your subconscious mind, or the higher realms that you were going to, you're about to start making that a reality. But to do that, you have to be super grounded. And this minute where you're at, you're kind of balancing it out. You're kind of like, you may be like running back to the other realms and going, nope, 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 I don't like this. I'm feeling a bit too grounded. What's going on? Running back to the other realms, tapping in, getting some information there, and then coming back out of your shell, and then building something, having a career idea, shifting your work, you know, doing something different in regards to your work, and building something there. And you're learning how to balance the two. But right now you may be feeling a lot more one-dimensional right now, and Spirit's saying that's okay. You have all of this depth behind you. You are this depth. You know what I mean? You don't just erase that. You're just learning how to integrate it. And the reason you're being called to be more in your physical body right now is so that you can see that magic around you and start following those breadcrumbs around you to start expanding, so that your physical life can be just as fun and just as magic as the realms you were going to, so that we're no longer just escaping, but we're actually bringing it here and life becomes fun. You know what I mean? You know, when you see celebrities and they're like, I don't need to go to sleep and dream anymore because my life is like what I wanted in my dreams. I think that's the lane that you're in right now. And that's why you're being called to super focus. So don't worry about maybe feeling a little bit too hyper focused on the physical right now. I feel like that's you balancing yourself in. And the fact that we have the Fool and the Fool has the dog, I think that you've been in your feminine energy a lot, and I think that you're tapping into that more masculine energy. And I always hear as well, people say cats are protectors in the spirit realm. They definitely are. My cats be telling me when something's up. And then dogs are protectors in the physical realm. And the fact that this guy has a dog here, it's like you're more aligned with the physical realm right now because that's a pathway you're walking on. But it's not because you're going into the shallow end and getting rid of your depth. No, there's depth in the physical world. You're about to swim to the depths of that physical world, whether that's traveling, new career opportunities, taking risks, opening up to love, opening up to friendships. You're diving deep into what being a human can be. And bringing that wisdom that you've already learned with you. Yeah, let's pull some more cards. That's quite interesting. You may, while you're going through it, because I feel like you guys are quite connected to your psychic gifts, you may even feel as well like, I'm not connecting to my psychic gifts the way that I usually am. I'm being told to say, they're there. It's either that you're just being called to super focus on the physical right now, or maybe there's a different way that you're being called to look at your gifts. There we are. That I just shared, that's a thinker. But there's a different way in regards to like looking at your gift and expanding that way so that you have a more balanced perspective. How can I explain that? It's like, I used to have a lot of imposter syndrome, right, with my spiritual gifts. And when I went through my ego death, I started to, because everything fell away around me and I thought nothing's real anymore. And then when I was looking at my psychic gift, I couldn't deny that I was channeling things. So I couldn't exactly deny that it was happening because I would always like channel and get messages. But I started to then get imposter syndrome of, I'm just saying things, or these things are just coming to my head and there's no real thing to it. This isn't really what it is. And then while I was expanding and going through that ego death, I started to realize like, no, you are energy. Everything around you is energy. This energy is being funneled through you and you are speaking it out. Like, it's so much more deeper than that. Yes, you're speaking things, but they're literally being downloaded because we're all energy and it's just like literally coming through. And your being is a lot more bigger than what you're seeing right here. Like, you have this higher self and you were just a fragment of that higher self, and these messages are being fueled through your higher self, and those higher selves are connecting to other people's higher selves when you're bringing in messages, or you're channeling with them, and so on and so on. Like, it's so much deeper. And then I was able to connect in a deeper way, but I had to question it to really see that kind of like balance. So there's something about you maybe feeling a little bit stumped or confused in regards to a particular psychic gift. And I feel like you're about to see the actual depth of it as you tap into that humanness. Because you may have thought in the past, oh, well, the human side of things isn't that magical. And it really is. Like, it is. It really is. People think as well, like, you know, there's the spiritual side, and then when you're not connected to spirit, there isn't magic, but magic's literally everywhere. And it's not that the birds in the sky start to appear different. We start to look at them deeper. Before, it was a bird flying around in the sky and he was trying to eat the croissant I had in my hand, right? And it was annoying. But 10 years later, I've unraveled, I've seen myself deeper. So now I'm seeing that bird deeper. Now that bird is an infinite being collecting energies and cleansing them and is bringing divine messages through. And I might not be able to hear the messages through words, but I'm picking up on them and he's cleansing my energy. And there was no shift. You were never told this. You just saw yourself deeper. So now that bird is deeper. And when you travel to these realms, yes, we can like escape to those realms in regards to our higher self, but the way that we ascend in this life isn't through escapism, it's through bringing it into our reality. We're not supposed to escape the 3D to a higher realm and just abandon the 3D. Unless we're completely comfortable and love the 3D, we're not going to be able to shift our energy. Otherwise, it's just escapism. And I think your higher selves are very aware of that, and that's why you're about to make this physical life beautiful for you, so you can really adore this 3D life, because we're meant to. That's why we incarnate, and that's what you guys are doing. And that's why there's a little bit of a confusion, because it's like, I'm not used to doing this. But it was all when the time was right. You know what I mean? You had to see yourself deep enough first by just being in those higher realms to then bring that to the physical and then go, well, I see myself this deep now. Now I can see everything around me as deep. So you're peeling back the layers of everyday life now to see how deep it can go. Pile number... I just shared the song from Janae Aiko, Why Aren't You Smiling? She sings, there's really no end, there's really no beginning, there's really no fail, there's really no winning, because nothing really isn't, everything really isn't. And it's always the same, like, especially when we connect with spirit, we think, how deeper can we possibly go? And the universe is like, you haven't even scratched the surface. And you think you know everything, there's just so much depth. And like, you'll go through a shift and you're like, actually, I don't know anything. Like, I actually know nothing. That was a glimpse of so much more. And then you start going down this new pathway and things are a bit confusing and we're mastering that new pathway. And I think you're on a completely different pathway now. So it's like, this is confusing, and you're learning to see the divinity in life, in the physical life. So we have Revelation. Not shocked at that card coming out at all. Look at him looking at the stars. You're about to see the depth of, I'm hearing I believe in miracles. You're about to see the depths of everyday life, I feel. That's the next path you're on. Whether that's in regards to like building up your finances, traveling, seeing the world, connections. There's so many things in the physical life that can mirror stuff back to us. Even nature. Nature is a literal representation of the universe and how it alchemizes. Like, we see it all the time with like the seeds and they're growing and those shapes, you know, the shapes that the flowers make and that rebirth that happens, and it's like a coding that's everywhere. And whenever I want to understand the universe and the stars and all that celestial energy, I'll go into nature because nature mimics it. Nature's a part of that. It's 33 on the clock, by the way. Am I using these? Yeah, look at that. Personal transformation. Look at him looking at the stars as well. You guys are very celestial roots. I'll leave that there for you to do with as you wish. You guys have very celestial roots and you're aware of it, but you're bringing them to earth. You're learning, you're bringing that to earth to help bring that energy down, you know, and ground it to help earth's energy field. And we have belonging. So you're about to start feeling very at home on earth. Like, there's no place I'd rather be. And maybe me saying that to you right now, you're probably thinking, nope, don't want to be here. I'm an alien. I don't want to be here, but you're about to start feeling very earthy. I remember when I was coming out of my ego death, and there's this scene from The Office where Michael Scott always has dinner by himself, and he has dinner once with his colleagues, and he's talking to the camera. You know, they do like the confessional camera, and he's like, I really enjoyed having food with my friends. So, and he like points at everyone that's in the like canteen having their food, and he's like, I want to eat with these people. I want to have my dinner with these people. And I remember when I was coming out of my ego death, and I was always like, I don't need anyone around me. I don't want anyone around me. I just want to be with spirit. I don't like people. And I remember sitting there one day thinking, I think I want to be around these humans. Like, I actually think, I think I might want to start making friends and being around people. Like, I think some of them are quite cool. I think I want to open up to this. And it was, my spirit guys were like laughing because they sent me that, like, you know, the Michael Scott Office thing to me. Like, yeah, it's time you open up now. And I just feel like you're doing that. So you're starting to be like, you know what, maybe I do want to get a little bit physical, or maybe I do want to be a bit adventurous, or maybe I do want to make some friends, you know what I mean, start a salsa class, whatever the case. Like, start small and work your way up big. Like, there's something about that where you're like, I want to do some humanly things. And I think it's going to start happening where you're like, earth is feeling like home a lot, you know, because you're bringing those energies down to earth, and we have openness. So your higher self's asking you to be open to these shifts. And even if you're feeling a bit confused, like, I don't feel as open as I used to, or I don't feel as connected as I used to, just align with it. Hi, Padme. Hey, baby girl. You okay? You okay, my little muffin? You okay, my little muffin? I love you so much. Say hi, everyone. Say hi, everyone. My name is Padme. I'm just shuffling the cards, okay? Pile number 3, please, for guides. Pile number 3. Guidance from pile number 3 is higher So the difference between Padme coming in on the readings and the other cards, Padme's so quiet and just like keeps to herself, aren't you? You're such a sweet little girl. If Luna was here, the cards would be on the floor, the crystals would be being played with. If Vader's here, he would just sit over the cards. Padme just... And Jasper just doesn't even come into the screen. Jasper just hides under the table. So we have Bridget, Psychic Flames, 333, Sacred Milk, Druid Magic. Oh, I was going to put that there, Pads. I'll put it by here. I'll put it by here. Oh, thank you very much. Love you so much. Okay, so we have that. Psychic Flames, 333, Sacred Milk, Druid Magic. And with the Druids as well, he was so connected to the earth. And I feel like you're going to get codings from the earth as well. In regards to just like... I tapped into one of my past lives because I'm doing a course at the moment and I had to do that for my course. And I was tapping into one of my past lives and I chose to review one of my happiest lives on earth that my higher self could recall. And the life that I had, guys, like, oh my God. And I'm saying this because I feel like you're going to tap into a bit of this. I was so connected to the earth. Like, I felt the way I felt, because I had to feel it. I felt the undercurrents of the earth. I knew when there was shifts happening in the tides. I knew when there was the weather was changing because I could feel it in my body. Like I'd sit there and I'd get these geometric shapes and stuff come down and I would literally draw them in the ground and I would like place myself in them and I would use that to harness energies down into the physical. And I would then like look at nature and I would like energetically see that nature had those codings and those trees were growing in those codings. So it was like the rocks were forming somewhere because there was a particular energy being placed there and that's why those rocks were formed, whereas the trees were forming in a specific way because that's where it was formed. And then I was like zooming out and seeing the earth and like everything was being placed because there was like energetic grids. And then when I came out of that, I was thinking of like the pyramids and Stonehenge and, you know, the Mayan pyramids and all of these beautiful like, you know, buildings from years ago. And I was like, they're placed there because of grids, clearly. Like that's how they were able to bring those energies down and those messages down, like with the pyramids, you know, directly under Orion's belt. Like, and I was seeing that and I was just like, oh my God. And in that life I was so connected. Even like the sun would go down and I was a young girl in that life and I was singing to the sun as it went down and it was so pure, but I was so connected to earth. Like earth just felt so much like home. And I think you're about to really start to experience that, because in that life I was looking at, I already look at animals as friends. It probably comes from that life, but like I really could feel them so deeply. Like I could speak their language so strongly, and I just see you guys tapping into that as well and really feeling that homey feeling on earth, but also in human beings as well. Like I think you're about to start feeling that way with other people as well. We have Banyan Blessing, Security, the Hermit, Expansion and Stability. I look at the trees here as well. Security. Yeah, you're going to start feeling, you may even be feeling right now like some fears are coming up in regards to your physical body and being on earth. So you may be like hyper focused and aware right now as you're grounding in on like fear-based realities of like, you know, you see on the news and there's things going on and people are mean and human beings can be quite scary sometimes and they do quite horrible things on earth. Like we all know stuff like that happens, and maybe that's hypersensitive for you right now and being told it'll settle. It's just coming up because maybe ancestral wise or maybe just through childhood you learned that it might not have been safe to be in your root chakra or your physical body, so it was a lot easier to be in the other realms. So as you're positioning yourself into your lower chakras, those fears are coming up for you to acknowledge or just feel into as they purge away. So that fear is then placed with just discernment, because we're meant to have discernment. That fear is being placed with discernment and then it becomes a lot more balanced. So there may be some fears popping up right now, but it's nothing to be concerned about. They're just coming up to purge. We have astral travels as well. Possible, impossibility, freedom, traveler, inner dreams. You know, like when you do like lucid dreaming or you go somewhere in the astrals and everything's so woo-woo, like everything's so magic, and then you like wake up and you're like, oh, 3D earth, okay. you're about to start waking up and going, ooh, magic, we're on Earth, we're in the 3D, this is magic, let's go, let's go. You're about to start bringing that same feeling to Earth, is what I'm being shown. It's probably a final card then. I'll pop that here actually. Pile number 3, please, Spirit Guides. Guidance from pile number 3's higher selves. Guidance from pile number 3's higher selves. Flow. You guys have flow. Listen to your intuition. Listen to your intuition. Where are you wanting to, and listen to your body as well, actually, physically. What are you wanting to do physically right now? Because that's where you're actually being called to focus. There's something in your waking life, physical life, that you're being called to focus on. And I feel like you're about to see the depths in that. I don't know if it's traveling. I don't know if it's career. I don't know if it's money. It could be like more than one thing. You could be just enriching everywhere you go and just going deeper and deeper as time goes on. But don't resist anything. Don't feel like you're abandoning your old way of looking at life. You're abandoning your spiritual teachings, or you're abandoning the other realms. You're not, because they're within you. You're going deep in this realm. And we have truth. So you're about to see both sides of a coin. Like this and that are true. Yes, we're in the physical realm. Yes, things are slower. Yes, things are 3-dimensional. But there's also other layers to where I'm about to see that too. So that's what you're about to really see. It's like back in the day, you'd walk past trees and you go, cool, a tree. And then the more inner work you do, you're like, I remember like I used to catch the bus to my old work back in the day years ago. And I remember like just sitting there, and obviously I live like, there's so much nature around me, and I was going through the countryside down to my work, and there was trees everywhere. And I just was having this vision of like the trees being the lungs of like Earth, and then my lungs, and it's like I'm feeding you, you're feeding me, we need each other. And it was like we were both like breathing into each other, and I felt so attached to Mother Gaia in that moment, and it was so beautiful. But had I not met myself as deeply, I would have just drove past those trees and gone, trees. Because looking around the bus, a lot of people were walking, you know, trees. They weren't even paying attention. They were like, there was a woman next to me playing Candy Crush on her phone. Like, she just was not fazed by the trees at all, which is fine. That's her life, and that's what she's meant to be doing. Fun, enjoy Candy Crush. But it was like I reached this level of depth, and then I was seeing it in that tree. You know what I mean? So it's like there's a depth that you're reaching in everyday reality, that you're opening up to, which is going to be really fulfilling, I'm being told, for you guys. So yeah, pile number 3, that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed your reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching.